Wow. I'm excited for this one. Oh yeah, Ark saying these are requested on Patreon. We're emptying the other queue. We're gonna let that one be more casual queue, spin related queue, and then the Patreon exclusive streams will be happening as well. Hey, it stopped raining. Yeah, the film is probably gonna be really good because it's such a popular musical anyway. Don't feel shame in musical theater. Musical theater is shameful enough. I'm just kidding. Oh, cool. But this is gonna be good. This is a singer who's very, very prolific in the musical theater world. He's very successful, won very many awards. This is a song called "Waving Through a Window" from the musical Dear Evan Hansen, and this is Ben Platt singing.
To perform "Waving Through a Window" from Dear Evan Hansen.
I didn't
Once
even
again,
have to announce.
Ben Platt.
2 awards, mainstream.
I've learned to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I lead with the worst of me. Give them no reason to stare, no slipping up if you slip away. So I got nothing to share, no, I got nothing to say. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? Cause I'm tapping on the glass, I'm waving through a window. I try to speak but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. I'm waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me?
Yes. Oh, dude, his voice is so good. I actually saw this musical live with him singing the role that he's singing about right now, that this song is from. That's how words work. And he's got such an awesome, like, natural talent. He's in much better voice in this case. I mean, I assume if you're going to do the Tonight Show that you're going to be prepped. But when you're on Broadway, you're doing like 8 shows a week, and your voice is constantly in like repair mode, and you have to make those balances. I think Broadway singers do the most back-to-back singing. And part of the reason that can be sustainable is the fact that you can rely on a healthy technique to carry your voice through, which is exactly how he sings. Everything he sings is light and easy. It's like very perfectly placed. He flips up into a really nicely supported head voice on his way up to those waving through a window notes. I mean, I've worked with a couple people here on the Big Brain Singer Voice Clinic to work through that type of passage in that song specifically because it's such a popular song. But man, it's so impressive watching him do this role and do this song with so much ease and finesse, without using too much of anything, right? This is such an awesome way to sing. Let's go back to this chorus and just kind of listen to him do it again. It obviously amps up as we go further, but really, I mean, Ben Platt's a legend, and he proves it here.
Window, I try to speak but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. I'm waiting through a window.
See, the whole time he's in a really like nicely well-rounded out chest voice. And then when he sings the word waving, let's see if we can get a still of it.
For answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. I'm waiting.
Shows his teeth, flips up into a nice forward masky head voice, and that's what allows him to just keep that resonance without pushing too much. He gets to that pitch, he keeps the color, he keeps his voice intact, supported by air, but he doesn't amp the air. The problem so many people face when they're trying to sing this song, especially when they're trying to sing the song like Ben Platt, is they try to add too much force to that wave in through a window part. And you can observe kind of how he manages it, and it's easy. It's all about just placing the anatomy in the place at the right time, keeping the air flowing. And he does it so well.
Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? We start with stars in our eyes. We start believing that we belong, but every sun doesn't rise, and no one tells you where you went wrong. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned on the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be more than I've always been? Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window.
See, that time it was different. So the entire time he's singing in his chest voice, even though it has to do with, the lower, middle, easier portion of the voice, everything is so well supported with the core. And that's why you never hear anything get breathy. Nothing gets kind of like light or tied up. And he can then do the same thing he did to flip up into that waving through a window part, except he can stay in chest voice because he's still drilled into that core support. If he weren't supporting with his core, that would crack, right? But you do it sparingly because it is a high note. It's like it's like an A flat or something, A flat, and it's hard to manage if you're not fully supporting with the core the entire time, which he's doing, and so it works out well. But if you listen to the way he's singing in his middle voice, it's just as supported with the diaphragm, with those abdominal muscles, balancing out the breath pressure. Not too much, not too little. Really, really cool. He reminds me a bit of Tracy Chapman, or is that weird? I don't think that's weird. We've listened to Tracy Chapman here, and they're definitely like similar energy vibes. Yeah. I think his outfit too.
Can anybody see? Is anybody waving? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound? On the outside, will I ever be more than I've always been? Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving?
All right, let's stop for a second. Awesome, dude. There's so much energy. This song is composed in a way where that energy just goes. This is like the big title song for the character. But it's done so well. There's so much energy behind it. But the way that he's negotiating it vocally, again, super hard song to sing, but he's doing it so well. Here.
Falling falling in a forest and there's nobody around you.
When he doesn't need to bring the energy up in the bridge, he doesn't. You know, you just pull it back, relax, sit. It's almost like he's speaking on pitch.
Really crash or even make a sound when you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around. Do you ever really crash or even make a sound when you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around? Do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound?
And even when the background is amping up, he stays the same dynamic, because he knows there's this key change and even higher high note coming up in a very difficult passage. He's conserving. He's keeping it smart. He's letting the backing music do the work for him. And again, part of singing songs that have these challenges in it is knowing how to pace yourself out. So if you're trying to sing this song, you need to know when you have to pull back and when you're able to make special moments happen. Now, he's someone who sings like 8 days a week on Broadway, so he's such an expert at pacing himself and making sure that he has enough juice to give those big moments when they make the most impact, like the high notes, like the waving through a window part, right?
On the outside, always looking in. Will I never be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window.
And we go to the B flat on top. So he has to give us 2 B flats on top in that section, which for a voice like his, like that baritone, you know, middle high male voice, that's like the second passaggio, the second break in the voice. And he's got to add a lot of energy to make sure that it happens without cracking into that higher section where it could possibly go into, like, you know, sound like a crack. You know, it's very high potential there. But if he keeps everything rooted and secured and he doesn't over pressurize anything on his way to that key change, then he's gonna have the ability to flip into that B flat and totally be fine. But it's about connecting the breath flow while it's being supported. So keeping the air moving, feeling that fire in your gut without breaking up because of the words. The words should not interrupt the vocal phrase. That's like a very standard idea that's taught in classical vocalism and musical theater vocalism. But he's belting so effectively because of that continuous abdominal support and relaxed upper body, relaxed jaw, relaxed diction, knowing exactly what's happening. Albeit when you sing this song, you know, 8 days a week for like a year, you can do it without even a thought, right? But there's still a lot of technical things that have to go into it initially. Hey, thank you so much, Yap. I appreciate it. Old man's bedtime. Have a good rest. I'll see you in Miami. Come visit.
Anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? Is anybody waving? Whoa.
So in his middle voice, it turns into whoa, 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 but as he's in his higher voice, waiting. It's all showing teeth. Because he can show his teeth like that, because he's showing his teeth like that, he's relying on the resonators, right? The teeth are resonators, your sinus cavities are resonators, your skull, your rib cage, those are all resonators that can help amplify the voice without actually putting pressure on the voice. So if you show your teeth like that and sing in a way where your jaw's back and relaxed, you can get those pitches out without having to worry about it, right? Me sitting here talking for 2 hours or something, just rip out whatever pitch that was, doesn't matter. But you just create the proper acoustic environment and your voice doesn't have to work so hard. And he's like truly a master at doing that in this context. It's really, really awesome. Oh, but the thing I wanted to mention was in his middle voice, it's whoa, 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 whoa. But when he's singing higher like that, showing his teeth, relying on acoustic, you just modify the vowel because your audience knows what words you're singing. Check it out. Whenever he's in that higher range, just like all these amazing metal singers we listen to and that kind of thing, it's in that top area, it's and then your middle voice, you can articulate the diction a little more clearly. But let's listen to this play out a little bit just to kind of enjoy his singing because it's so rich. This movie's coming up. It's going to be huge. And he's in the movie. Yeah, man.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness. My takeaway from this is that it's very difficult to go from B flat to B fine. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, dude. Meowvolent, thank you for bringing that up. And like, not to discount the fact that because this movie's coming out, this being posted on YouTube will probably do pretty well. So I appreciate that immensely. But that's super good. I mean, Ben Platt, right? You can't go wrong. He gets a lot of hate. I think it's because he's playing a teenager, but he's like much older. But I don't think that's an issue, honestly. All right. Capriani's not here, so I'm going to skip his request. We'll start off with it next time. That means we have 2 left. This one's going to be BTS. Bangtang Noah, are you here? We're just going to go ahead. Would love to hear your thoughts on BTS song Answer, Love Myself. It's from the same album and series as Epiphany, their Love Myself trilogy of albums. Beautiful lyrically, but I personally love the vocals in this song, so I'm interested in what's happening technically here. Thanks so much. You got a sub from nowhere? I think Yop gifted you a sub, Arkzane. Yop gifted you a sub, he gifted a sub to You Call Me Nat, and gifted a sub to Tinian. Nat, thanks for following. Appreciate it. We keep listening to K-pop. I'm going to develop BTSD.